Hi, Jason. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You sound a little echoey. Are you in a bathroom?
I am in a bathroom. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
no. This is a Bible slash chat
Yes,
about, yeah,
I
no.
know. I'm in a converted closet. That's an office. So
Okay.
I do
And what
apologize.
state are you in?
You want me to move out of this room?
No, no, it's okay. What state are you in?
We are in Arizona right now. So I'm with
Oh,
my kids. Jacob's at
oh, so
a
fun.
My son's at a basketball camp, and my wife is with her sister. She's taking her out for her birthday. The sister is. So
Yeah,
they're
that's so
gone.
fun.
We're separate places.
Separate places. Very good. But it's just you and the kids? How is Arizona? Is it nice and cool there?
Yeah, real cool. It's cooler than Mercury, but
Cooler than the
there was lightning storms last night from the distance, like you can see in the mountains. It was amazing.
Oh, probably beautiful.
You could just see
Yeah.
the streaks and stuff. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
reminded of like Sinai. I'm like, I can't even imagine. They were at the
Yeah.
foot looking up and seeing that and
Yeah.
a billion. So just glorious.
That's awesome. Yeah, fire and smoke and all that. No wonder they were terrified, right?
I can't imagine.
Hmm?
Anyway,
Intense.
it's hot,
Yeah. Also hot around Sinai, I hear.
just a little bit.
Yes, it's the desert, the Middle Eastern desert. All right. Well, we are doing Bible slash chat here, and what I want to talk about is a topic that's kind of been in the news recently. You probably have heard, you listeners, and I know Jason, you have about Linton, the new SBC president, and he's been accused, and I think more or less it's been clearly uh, proven that he
Uh,
was plagiarizing J.D. Greer's sermons at various points in his ministry. And so I want to talk about pastoral plagiarism, not necessarily about him. I don't want to pass any judgment on that. That's for the SBC to deal with. And we're not SBC. And thankfully, we're not SBC. We don't have anything to say about any of that. But what does pastoral plagiarism have to do with the way that we think about how do we think about pastoral plagiarism? Why is it bad?
yeah,
Have you ever plagiarized? Uh, I'll just assume that the answer is no.
never
And
seen.
then, and then what are the limits of that? Like, how would we think about a pastoral plagiarism? What are the ways that, like, obviously quoting from a commentary or,
It's different.
using a
Yeah.
Spurgeon illustration? Is that plagiarism in a way that would put us at risk in the same way? So why is it wrong? Number one, why is it wrong? Number two, what are the limits of it? And number three, what would that? How do we guard against it?
Number one, it's wrong.
Okay, good. Why?
Well, it's lying, it's deceit. So anything
Right.
like that is not above reproach. It's well below reproach. It's sin. I mean,
Yeah.
taking credit for someone else's work, and even
Yeah.
the world recognizes that as being wrong.
Yeah.
So it's definitely sinful in that way. You're falsely representing yourself. Um, so it's wrong at the like just the behavioral level right there. I'd say ultimately, like, and this will probably go to question three, I guess. Ultimately, it's wrong. I mean, well, I'll get to that later. Sorry, but at the surface level, it's wrong because it's a behavioral. I mean, it's you're lying. Okay.
Yeah.
The limits of it, I think, when you're quoting things, citing things, in a sermon, you're writing it. You're not going to put footnotes. It's not an essay. It's meant to be spoken. So it's not like I don't think you and I write our sermon notes as if they're going to be published. We're not thinking, ooh, one day,
Yeah.
or teaching notes of any kind. It's just
Mine for sure. You're a potential. You could be published, Jason. You
yeah.
could.
No. This is where the problem. This is where it all goes downhill. So yeah, like if you're writing an essay for seminary, right, or for publication in like some Christian magazine, let's say, or a blog, and you're quoting from someone, what would you do? You would definitely put an in-text citation or a footnote,
Right.
and something, right?
Right.
Um, the other thing is that's obvious, I think, but then when you're using someone, let's say you're using a MacArthur quote, you're using Spurgeon, you're using Piper, you're using Augustine, whatever. I think we want to put that person name there and then the quote,
Yeah.
right? Even in our writing, we're going to put it there. Now, the tricky thing is sometimes you say things that are from other people but you don't remember exactly who it was.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to lie. You put it in there, and I think there's two ways to go about it. One is you're paraphrasing and you're saying it, and I don't think God's like, well, you don't remember who said it, so it's plagiarism.
Yeah. No.
The
Yeah.
intent is not to deceive people and say like,
This
and
was
also
my
God
idea.
knows exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is, I think you could say like, this quote is from, or like a pastor said, or a theologian said. And so sometimes we like to do that, I think, when we don't remember legitimately, or maybe it's off the cuff. You're
Yeah.
trying to say something and you're like, I remember this guy. I think it was, Herman Bavinck, but it might not have been. You
Yeah.
don't want to say that, but you're just like, this is a theologian. I think I remember said this. And then you just, you're free in that way. I think even for my biblical counseling notes, I think for the equipping class, what I realized was, okay, I borrowed and adapted and used straight up a lot of stuff from another church that they had given me all their notes.
Yeah.
I wanted to make clear that I had I did do that and then adapted and did stuff with their notes, but
Yeah.
also wanted to say this is not like original ideas
Mm-hmm.
by and large. There might be a few here and there by application or something, but these are not like original thoughts that no one else has come up with.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even say that, the church that taught those original lessons,
Right.
So that was for like the first, like the core lessons of the biblical counseling class. It was like, I'm just borrowing these from Lighthouse with my own little inflections here and there and cutting things out and changing things and moving things around, but the structure is from them.
Mm.
And I want you to know some of the quotes and even stories are from them that I'm using because it's helpful,
Yeah.
but they're not mine. And
Yeah.
so, you know, that's for questions 1 and 2, I would say.
Yeah. Totally. Sounds super helpful. So what do you, so, okay. So as pastorally, what's the like the risk reward scheme that's happening there in my heart that would cause me to want to plagiarize? I mean, obviously with Linton, he's literally ripping off an entire sermon and just preaching it as though it were his own. But for us, like what's the risk reward that would cause us to do that? Like what's being held out to us in temptation that we're then
Yeah,
potentially going to go after? And
yeah.
then how does that, how do we deal with that?
No, that's good. I think the temptation is the glory of man.
Mm,
Look good, sound, if you sound good, sound insightful, thoughtful, then like, wow, he's a
yeah,
great preacher, he's a great teacher. What a
yeah,
gifted guy. That, and that's like with anything in ministry, right? You're good at something, or you sound like you're good at something, you seem like you're good at something, then you get the glory of man. You just
yeah,
do, and that's the danger of ministry. It's like Judas.
yeah,
Nobody knew the guy was a snake, even though he was obviously. But I was just reading in Luke, he was sent out. The 12 are sent out
yeah.
together, teaching about the kingdom of God and performing miracles.
Mm,
So it wasn't like Judas was he was teaching about Christ and he was performing miracles of Christ, just like the other 11.
yeah,
And they had no idea. They're
yeah.
like, we didn't know. And so the danger is like we're to get puffed up, to get human love
Mm,
and not believe in the glory of Christ.
yeah,
That's not just more important, but that's better. That's
yeah,
actually satisfying and fulfilling of the heart. Uh,
totally.
so that's the danger. I don't think the danger. It's not like, yeah. Why do you want to like rip someone off to sound good, right? To sound thoughtful. What's the end game? And the end game
Right.
is because people are going to be like, that's the guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
totally.
that's the idol that we are worshiping in that moment when we are tempted to do that, or when we do that.
Yeah. And the only way around that is just finding the glory of Christ,
Yeah.
seeing his beauty, like you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I think it really is like, and so it's a deeper issue that like it's a lie, but why? What's going on
Yeah.
in the heart? Like you're saying, the deceit is happening on the outside because on the inside, you're treasuring someone or something else other
Mm,
than Christ. His
totally.
love and his glory and beauty are not like in that moment are not real to you. So it's easy for you to justify your sin. I mean, you can even I think you can even say things like, well, this sounds better.
Mm,
This is better for the people. So God understands, like this is, but instead of just, but that, but you can't get around that because you would just quote the person. You would say, you know
yeah.
what? I'm just going to read JC Ryle's sermon today.
Yeah.
And that would be fine if you're
Yeah.
upfront about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, even the secular world, like you were saying, secular academic world does that. But those temptations are even like I was thinking about the Astros and their whole their whole thing, like the need to be first, like willing to do anything, willing to lie, willing to play off things that are really yours, that are really aren't yours, but to do it for the sake of that accolade, for the sake of the glory of man. And even the secular world is like, what are you doing? That's cheating. That's wrong. It's evil.
Yeah,
So,
they got like, the Olympics are coming up. You got steroids and
totally.
all those things. They're gonna come up with some. There was a Chinese swimmer. He got banned again, and then so, I mean, the world wants a fair playing field. They want to know like the game is being played in a legitimate manner,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing with ministry or preaching, right? We want to know that it's legitimate, and especially for pastoral ministry, because we want to know it's from your heart, because it's the only work like that, really, in one sense. I mean, of course, every work should be done from their heart, but of all things, like pastoral ministry is like truly like it's all about your character. You rise, you fall or die. Fall or die. You rise or fall on, are you above reproach? I mean, it really is like, and the only way to guard against that is by loving Jesus and receiving his love.
Mm,
That's like nothing else is going to keep my heart from doing something crazy like taking John Piper sermons and saying they're mine.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's so sad. I was listening to a recent thing, the commentary on this, and someone said that a guy that Lloyd Jones was, there was a guy in England, and he was ripping off Lloyd Jones sermons. And one week, Lloyd
Yeah.
Jones went and visited his church, and he preached the sermon. And then afterwards, Lloyd Jones walked out the back, and he was just like mortified, and he realized like just how unrighteous it was. And Lloyd Jones said, "Hey, man, do your own work." And
Yeah.
I kind of left it at that. But it was just, I mean, you could just feel the pain of that. It's just so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
man, thank you so much. Super helpful. Appreciate your insights into that. And
You're welcome.
don't plagiarize, dude.
I'll try my
Seriously.
best not to.
All right. Thanks a bunch.